Welcome to chapter 37. We are continuing our coast to the end of this textbook. We're looking at some more miscellaneous points of Mari morphosyntax, and thematically we're going to be starting to look at we're going to be looking at the Mari traditional religion in this lesson. So, grammar points. The first point we have on today's agenda is the nominalization of genitive forms, which is to say the genitive forms can be used as nouns of their own. This sounds very strange, but I think it should. Hopefully, it will be fairly straightforward. So, genitive forms in Mari, we have like genitive forms of pronouns. They have a similar function as possessive pronouns in languages that have possessive pronouns. And if you think of languages that have possessive pronouns, it is oftentimes possible to use these possessive pronouns on their own, skipping the word that comes afterwards, and use that just as the head of a noun phrase. For example, you could say like our players, if you're talking about a football tournament or whatnot. But you could also, like, I mean, English does this less, but it would still be viable to say like ours or whatnot. That you use just this R as a noun of its own. And in Mari, you can do this too with genitive forms, but not just genitive forms of pronouns, but genitive forms of any noun. So what this then looks like. Here are just some some dialogue examples where such things could happen. What do you think? Will they publish my article in this magazine? And then you can say which is then me with the genitive marking, mine, and that is then just used as a noun, mine, and that is now marked in the accusative. If they published mine, they will publish yours. That you don't have to say million statyam, you can just say millionum. And this means like if you do a naive morphological analysis here, you might be confused that you have one noun and then you have the genitive and then you have the accusative. And I thought that you can only have one noun case per noun. But yeah, this is because the genitive form has been relexicalized and is used as a noun. And it's very popular to do this with forms of personal pronouns, especially like memnan vlak, ours. Like for those of you that know Russian, this is very common with the possessive pronoun of the first person plural, nash, our, that nashi is like ours. And it's used both in innocent and dubious contexts. It can be, sometimes it is used in reference to sports teams, but it also has been used, it can be used in reference to militaries and whatnot. Yeah, so do you know where ours are and yours and whatnot? These can be plurifics, or our own or whatnot. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this anymore. So if there are no questions, I will move right on to the next point. So next point, I have indefinite pronouns, adverbs in gынат, another set of indefinite pronouns and adverbs. We've had so many already. We've already had we've had the negative ones with ni. We've had the ala, iktash, ketch, and kerek forms. Here comes another one, but this time it is not a prefix, but a suffix, gынат, which you might remember as the conjunction from concessive clauses. Which is then, it's like gyn if with at, even if, so to say, and you just attach it to the interrogative form que, who, que, gынat, someone, or it's more, what better translation might be actually whoever or so. But well, it depends on context. More what, more gынat, etc. Morphologically, it's completely trivial, which is then why I'm not actually doing an exercise where I'm asking you to form all this, because there is nothing to it. If we look at the usage examples, these are a bit more. This is a bit more tricky to delimit this one away from the other ones that we have looked at. So we've had with ala and iktash the difference between like a known unknown and an unknown unknown. And then we had with kerek and ketch something where we had an indifference. And these now more indicate an inevitability. I hope this makes sense if we look at the examples. Unavlaket kisetat uke ulet. Are your guests still not here? Kögenat sadak tolek. Somebody will come. So it's inevitable that there is somebody that that will come. Lu yengich minyagenat tolshash. Out of 10, some number will have to come. There has to be a number that will come. So tishte pasham muash okli. You can't find any work here. The guy lien okkiat, that can't be mogaigenat pashali shash. There has to be some kind of work. So it's like usually the context in which you would use this in English, you'd have like extra intonation to mark the someone or so. Like kunam genat perlia liena, the fourth. Oh, sorry, that's the third one. Kushtu genat lishash. It's got to be somewhere. Like you lost your keys, but you know that you had your keys when coming in the flat. You locked the flat from the inside. You know for a fact they're in the room. You just can't find them. You say, they've got to be somewhere. Or kunam genat perlia now. Someday we will be together or so. Okay. Also don't have that much more to say on this topic. So unless there are questions, I will move on to the next point already. Conversion. So conversion, also known as null derivation. This is when you use a word from one word class and just shove it into another word class without any morphological marking. And this is something that is it's common in the languages of the word, but there are differences in how productive different kinds of conversions are in different languages. To give you an example, English is very productive with noun to adjective conversion, that you can basically take any noun and just use it as an adjective, like take like, I don't know, like a no longer current thing, like when you had an investigator called Robert Mueller writing a report in the United States, that was then the Mueller report. Okay, I mean, it's of course, then you can debate if this is an adjective or it's a compound, and I'm not going to get into it, but basically you can just use a noun, put it before another noun to modify it, no problem. But what then English doesn't do so much is adjective to noun conversion. It's possible in some cases, like you say, the reds, the greens, the whites or whatnot, in sports or politics or military conflicts or whatnot. But this is, for example, very, very, very productive in German, for example, where in German you can take an adjective and use it as a noun, like if you say riesig, giant, die riesigen, the giant ones, absolutely no problem. So now we're going to have a look at what kind of where conversion in Mari is especially productive. And we're going to start with nominal conversion, that is then to nominal conversion, adjective to nominal, etc. And we're going to start with derived adjectives, that there are some adjective or derivational suffixes that are so productively converted into nouns that you sometimes also find it in as a nominal derivational suffix, but it is pretty clearly the same thing. Oh, I didn't list who for the exercise today, the order. Let's say Sonia, Valentina, Sandra, and Luan. So some examples of where we have an adjective derived with an adjective or suffix from a nominal stem, but then that derived adjective can also be used as a noun. Okay, and this one maybe I'm not going to do with as an exercise yet because it's not fully predictable. But for example, we had this suffix "lyk," which was adjective, an adjective, something meant for something. So we have "ner," nose, but also snout of an animal, and then we have "ner lyk," an adjective for the nose, but then it can also by conversion be a noun, something, a thing for a nose. So the intended meant for the nose snout becomes then a muzzle, something you put on your dog's snout or face to prevent it from biting people. Shincha, eye. Shinchalik, intended meant for the eyes, a thing that is meant for the eyes. We've had this one, I believe. That's just glasses. Or shui, if we have neck, here we have a different derivational suffix, the ash derivational suffix, shuyash. In the original meaning, it was intended meant for the neck, but shuyash then becomes a necklace, the thing for the neck. Sonia, do you have a question?
Yeah, Sonia does have a question. Thank you, Jeremy. I'm sorry, but I think I'm a bit lost here because I thought that conversion is like changing the part of speech without changing the form, like
Yes.
without any affixes.
Yes.
So this is slightly confusing for me, like to see mer and nerlek, because there's like
sorry, I could the graphic representation could be better. That the first column to the second column, this is derivation. It's from the second column to third column, that is in conversion. That the derived forms by conversion get this second meaning. So we have an adjective närlik, and that is converted into a noun närlik. We have an adjective shinchalik, which is converted into a noun shinchalik. We have an adjective shiyash, which is converted into a noun shiyash.
Yeah, now I get it. Thank you.
Sorry, I can maybe I'll add headers to the for the columns that make it a bit more transparent. Okay, now I am going to be asking you to participate. What is very common, where conversion is very common, is when it comes to participles. The participles, even though they in their prototypical function are adjectival, we can all of the participles can by conversion become nouns. This is how, for example, the active participle also became the marker for agent nouns, that we have an adjective meaning person like doing this thing, and that can then be the person doing that thing. So here we have all for participles, and I've given you the meaning when it is used as an adjective, and you should guess or know what it could be when used as a noun. And we start with Sonia, then Valentina, then Sandra, then Luan. Everybody gets 2 participles then.
So it's learning, or a person who is learning, so a student.
Exactly.
And one more?
Yeah, maybe you can do the next one too. Yeah, let's do like that.
So a teaching, or a person who is teaching, so teacher.
Exactly.
Okay, then we have parlement, so person who is known, so an acquaintance. And Jeratime, that who is loved, so darling or dear.
Yeah, exactly. Then Sandra gets the future necessitive forms.
So koloshash, dying. I'm not sure how to convert this, to be honest.
It's a bit awkward, like the dying person who will die or so. Like a prototype.
I was thinking about the Latin.
I was thinking about that too. I don't know what it's in English. In German, it's die Todgeweihten grüßen dich, like those that are meant to die greet you.
Moriturite salutant.
Yeah, exactly. And that Mari would be kolashashflak. That would be that.
And then kayimash, having to go. Departing.
Yeah, like. Yeah, it's a bit awkward, but like kai shashflak, or careful shash not mash. Kai shashflak are those who will be leaving or so. It would be like we're on the trains, we are at the train station and the train's leaving in an hour, and we're saying who are the people who are going to leave with this train there, the kai shashflak. Okay, and then Luan gets the last 2.
So Ludash, and then Ludimo, a fearless, or like a fearless or brave person.
Exactly, like a daredevil could be like somebody who just a person who has no fear.
And then Ushash Ushtuma, like I guess an invisible or unseen or whatever person.
Both it is both possible. It can be like be the invisible, but it could also be the blind, depending on context. I mean, usually it's going to be the blind, but if it would be like, if you want to say like that the Braille alphabet is something that was built to make life easier for the blind, then you would say Ujdemo Blak in Mari. Right. And so second point, I'm not going to say much about, I'm not going to make any exercise here, like adjective or conversion, so noun to adjective. as in English, you can just take a noun and use it to modify another one. Q is stone, Q pert is a stone house. And of course, you can then debate here if these are compounds with just an orthographical gap in between them, or if they're adjectives. And this is this kind of basic philosophical conversation that I'm not that into. Porcelain silk, porcelain tuver, a silk shirt. Tele, winter, tele keche, a winter day. Okay, verbal derivation. So noun or adjective to verb. We have in the textbook some categories of what the semantics can be, but I mean this is kind of a bit of a post hoc attempt to try to assign order to order where there isn't, where it is not entirely clear. And since this is not really a productive process, I think usually you can just learn these as individual lexical items. But we can still see if we can guess the meaning of the verb based on the meaning of the noun or adjective at its basis. Don't worry if if it doesn't work out. And we will start with Sonia.
So mushkando, fist, and mushkandash. It's the second class. So it's like beating with a fist.
Yeah, exactly. Like.
Okay.
Right. Then Valentina.
Pujar is plane, but I guess that's not a flying plane, or is it?
No. Like this kind of.
That one. Yeah, so it would be like to use the plane, or maybe to smoothen. Depends. Yeah.
Yeah. Then Sandra.
Posh bellows, of which I'm not sure what that is actually.
Blasebalg in German. Like what you'd use to like on a fire to like.
Yeah, to start to make the embers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then poshage, well, to bellow, I guess.
Yeah, like to use bellows to get a fire going or something like that. Okay, and then Luan gets another classic ambiguity in Mari. The tushto does not just mean there; it also means riddle.
So tushto and then tushtash, it means like to ask a riddle.
Yeah, exactly. And then the infinitive of that, of course, is also tushto. So tushto can be there, it can be riddle, it can also be the imperative, hey, make riddles or whatnot. Right, then Sonia.
Berche, fence, and pechash. To fence something, like transitive. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. To surround something in a fence. So yeah, then Sandra.
I think it was my
sorry,
turn.
Valentina.
Yeah,
sorry.
it's okay.
Yeah.
So lumage, so it's the same as in English to snow, to snow.
Yeah, and Sandra.
Yeah, also kind of trivial, rain, and yurash to rain.
Yeah. Okay, then one more each. Luan.
So kangash and advice, and kangashash to give advice, or I remember it also means to discuss.
Yeah. It's like it is fairly similar. It works better in German with Rat and beraten, especially since kangash also has the two meanings that German Rat has, like both advice but also like a counsel or so. So it's like similar polysemy that we've got here. Yeah. Now it is Sonia.
Oshkal, step, and oshkalash. I would say like to make steps to step somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, then Valentina.
Chapalge, pale, chapalgash, then to turn pale.
Yeah. And Sandra.
Chopal sour and chopash to turn or make sour. I'm not sure.
Turn sour. Yeah. Okay, so I would like to, I cannot honestly say that it's fully predictable with the conjugation class, which conjugation class something is. Because, for example, here with oshkalash, that has in the verbal stem oshkel, very good. If we have lum, lumash, yur, yurash, the verbal stems are lum and yur, exactly the same as the noun. Also with peche, second conjugation. So pechash, the verbal stem is peche. The verbal stem here is tushto. So here it looks like the verbal stem is exactly like the nominal stem, but then here for poshash, the verbal stem is posho, because it's second conjugation, not push. And here it is pujare. So it's not fully predictable what conjugation class something is. Yeah, and then sort of as something that we have defined sort of as a subset of conversion or something touching upon conversion is the conjugation class pairs that we have. That we have a bunch of verbs where we have a first conjugation class verb and a second conjugation class verbs, and they are clearly etymologically and semantically connected with one another. And when we have these pairings, it is generally first conjugation class tendentially intransitive, second conjugation class tendentially transitive. First conjugation class tendentially transformative in some cases, becoming blah, blah, blah. Second conjugation class going into a position or so. And so we have a few verbs, the first four, where we just have these correspondences that we have to learn. But then we also had these two these two derivational suffixes alt of the first conjugation, alt of the second conjugation, where we basically have systematically pairs, because there are so many cases where you could attach either derivational suffix to a stem, and which one it is then just dependent on the conjugation class. So for this set of exercises, starting with, I believe, Luan, I've given you the translation of the first conjugation class verb, and I want you to tell me what the second conjugation verb would be.
Okay, so we have kodash, kodam to remain, and then kodash, kodem to leave.
Yeah, to leave something somewhere. The same difference that we have between like Finnish yada and jätta. Okay, then Sonja.
Nultash, nultam, to rise, and nultash, nultem, to raise.
Exactly. Then Valentina.
So we have temash, temam to fill up, intransitive, and temash, temem to fill something.
Exactly. And then Sandra.
Tinchash, tincham, to sit down, and tinchash, tinchin, to be seated.
Exactly. And then Luan again.
So vashtaldash, vashtaldam to be changed, and then for the second conjugation it means to change.
Yeah. And then Sonja.
Sharnaltash, sharnaldam, to be remembered, and sharnaldem, to remember something.
Yeah. Sorry, this is to remind. This is not a good translation. I should fix it. It's more like to remember. Yeah. Oh, this is then also in the textbook. I should make a note that this needs to be fixed. Yeah, because this is a case where both of these verbs are very commonly used. Like sharnal tash, first conjugation class, this will forever be remembered. Like tide ere sharnal tesh or something like that. Whereas the second one, like remember, this would be if you're asking somebody to recall something like shanalte kunam me blah blah blah. Remember how we used to blah blah blah. Okay, then last one goes to Valentina.
Pomejaltash, pomejaltam to wake up, intransitive, then pomejaltash, pomejaltem to wake someone up.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all I've got to say on the topic of conversion. Next topic I have is the adverbial suffix a, which is always stressed, which is used with numbers and other quantifiers, especially pele, the half, to form adverbs meaning into so and so many parts. Like if you're cutting a cake, you're cutting it into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts, or you're cutting it in half or so. And this is like with this is also something typical, that if you have strange forms of numbers, the higher the number it is, the less likely you are to use strange forms of it. So I'm sure, I haven't actually done it, but I'm pretty confident that if you did a corpus analysis, the form of 2 would be more common than that of 3, would be more common than that of 4, etc. And over 7, it's just not used. But yeah, let's see if based on the long form of the numeral, you can form the into adverb of all of these forms. And please make extra sure that the stress is right. I'm going to be paying attention to that. And the first one up was, I believe, Sandra.
So coquette, 2, and then probably coquette.
Coquette. That's exactly it. And this is then also why you don't have vowel harmony here, because it is only an unstressed e or ö adapts with vowel harmonically to the stem. A stressed e is its own thing, and it doesn't care what vowels came before. Right, so let's go through them fairly quickly. Sonia, Valentina, Luan, Sandra again. So.
Kumata.
Yeah.
Nilit, nilite in 4.
Yeah.
Then visitor.
Yeah.
Kudet, kudete.
Yeah.
Shumat, shumata.
Yeah.
And pele, pele in half.
Exactly. So this is a case where it's orthographically it's the same, but in pronunciation it is not. And if you look at, like, in the Mari English dictionary, we have pele 1 and then pele 2, with just the stress setting these two apart from one another. Yeah, and here I've given you some usage examples, but I think it's fairly transparent. It's like breaking something in 2, or cutting something in 4, or dividing something in 5, etc. Okay, if there are no questions, I would continue to word and word usage after I have a sip of water. So, some more auxiliary constructions, even though we have had our overview trying to get them all done. And we're going to be looking at 3 modifiers today, and among them, the first 2 are in a semantic category that I believe we have already discussed. I have the feeling that a lot of things that we're doing now are revision, but it's good to have it systematic in some way. The first one we are looking at is puash, to give. And puash is a marker, aside from a spectral value that we're going to look at in a moment. It also is a marker of a benefactive construction. A benefactive construction is if you do something to the advantage of some third party that is not the object, and not even the indirect object of a verb. At first it can seem a bit tricky to distinguish between a benefactor and an indirect object, but like in English we actually have there are some syntactic distinctions between them. Like not benefactive, just an indirect object would be I gave my sister the book. Because to give has in its inherent like argument structure, it expects there to be a person to have benefit for that. But an example of a benefactive construction would be, for example, you bake a cake, but you are baking the cake not for yourself, but for your squirrel. But this isn't something like baking does not have as an indirect object in its argument structure. So you can in English you could say I gave my sister the book, or I gave the book to my sister. And you can say I baked my squirrel a cake, but you cannot say I baked a cake to my squirrel. It's ungrammatical. You would have to say for my squirrel, because it's a different thing. It's weird in English how you in this, if you use it the one word order, there's no distinction between benefactor and indirect object, but in the other, if you use a preposition or phrase, there is. That you for a benefactor use for, and for an indirect object use to. Okay, so if we look at some usage examples, it's I think fairly straightforward. Like kofem konden puesa, bring me some coffee. And since we have the benefactor, the presence of a benefactor indicated by the verb, we no longer need this dative mark form of the benefactor in it, if it is clear from context who the benefactor would be. And if we ever in a Mari literature online Mari literature circle come to reading the short stories of Shketan, and I really hope we do, there's one called Yeche, skis, where it's I'm not going to give the whole plot away, but at one point the little kid is begging his father to buy him skis, and the kid is always saying Yechem Nalanpu, but usually like it's more like Yesem Nalanpu or something like that, like not properly pronounced. But it's what the kid isn't saying, skis, buy and give. And he's saying, what the kid is saying is, buy me some skis. And the little kid that is nagging doesn't have to say me if using a benefactive construction, because context makes it clear that when a kid is nagging, that the kid wants to be the benefactor of this action. Yeah. Like here we have it, a different Nalanpu example. Avai malam tida kuchakim Nalanpu. Mom, buy me this doll, literally buy and give this doll. And here you can have me, you can have malam, you just don't need it necessarily. Right. Udarem kovatlan kogelium nangayanpu. My daughter, bring your grandmother a pie. But sometimes we are using it as a spectral marker, just showing that some action is completed. Like my aunt sang a wedding song for the foreign guests, but I mean, then you can still read the benefactive reading into it. It's kind of tricky, but in like, if we say in the studio, a shirt is made over the course of a week, maybe it is implied a shirt is made for the wider audience or so. A point I'm trying to make, it's not always extremely straightforward to read the benefactive reading into it, and it does seem to go hand in hand with a spectral value. Okay, then we have got auto-benefactive with nalash, to take. And auto-benefactive is like benefactive, just with one critical difference. You baked a cake, but you did not bake the cake for your squirrel, you baked the cake for yourself. So it is the subject is themselves also the benefactor of this of the action. So Tuynoyen Otel, aren't you tired? Aida Izish Kanal 10 Nalana. Aren't you tired? Let's take a short break. Let's like have a break for our own advantage, for our good. Yeah, but often it is also again more a spectral, marking the completeness. But like palen, a very classic one is getting to know something. Palen nalnem is like you are you are acquainting knowledge for yourself in a way. Okay, and the third one that we have in this chapter, ilash, we have had some examples of this already, I believe. This is completely disconnected from the benefactive stuff that we have here. This is purely a spectral, and it is indicating something, a very long-lasting activity. For example, that you are spending your whole life baking cakes or whatnot. So we said, Simon Kugasa, den Vatische, Unikashten, Tolmish, Wuchen, Ilat. Simon and his wife are living for their grandchildren to visit them. So it's not just waiting, expecting it in a long time. It's like, I'm indicating that this is a long-lasting process. Over months they've been waiting for the grandchildren to show up, etc. Okay, any questions about auxiliary constructions? Okay, then next point. Coming back to uke and ogıl, two negators that we have. Uke for the existential negator, when we would say, like, for example, sar uke, there is no war in better times. And ogıl as the predicative negator, like tudo vrach ogıl, she, he, they is not a doctor. Both of these elements can be used nominally too and get nominal suffixes attached to them. Like one very common phrase that we're going to see is ukelan kara. So it's uke, the non-existence, there is not, with the dative, and in kara, because of. because of the non-existence of blah, blah, blah. Like Tishte Pasha Ukelan Kera, because there is no work here. Yivanlan Ves Olash Ke Kusnash Penen. Yivan had to move to another city. Or Ukegich can also be used like a Latin ex nihilo, like from nothing or so. Like and an ulo you can use as the existence of something. So ukegich ulem ot ishte, you can't make something like the being of something out of the not being of something. Here we have skolish kayash ogelan. In order not to go to school, Masha told her parents that she is sick. So here we have like the dative more as a purposive thing, in order not to blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Not much more I can say about this. Next point we have is verch. Verch as a postposition is both final and causal. These are categories that a lot of languages like to mix up, but they are semantically different things. Final is why, for what purpose do you do something? Like I washed the clothes so that I will have clean clothes tomorrow. It is forward looking. Whereas causal is why, for what reason. It's like I'm washing the clothes because they got dirty. It is backwards looking. It is looking at what made it necessary, whereas final is what motivated it. So, and verch can be both. And verch can be used both with the nominative, nachar igeche verch, or with the dative, nachar igeche lan verch, because of the bad weather. I have the feeling that I have not been able to corroborate with the corpus that if you use it with the dative, it is more likely to be final. And if you use it with the nominative, it is more likely to be causal, backwards looking. But this is just a feeling. I have no empirical evidence to present for this topic at this point. But in any case, both of them work. Ivan Poyan Peshlineje. Ivan really wants to be rich. Oksa verch or oksalan verch ala momat ishtash yamde. He's ready to do anything for the money because of the money, either with nominative or with the dative. This would be worth looking at in the corpus. We can also use the passive participle in combination with verch, and here too we can have the nominative and the dative. Vashke, so like vashkash, to rush, vashkeme, the rushing, vashkeme verch or vashkeme lan verch. Chaimachim you, I didn't drink the tea because of the rush, because I was rushing. Yeah, and I can also use the future necessitive participle with verch, but here I can't use the dative. Here it has to be just a basic form, and here it is by default final because that's what this participle expresses. So if I say examenem seien stat lashash verch, in order to pass the exam well, Katja jut keche to nehmen, Katja studied night and day. Okay, some synonyms to look at: shomak and mut, word or words. These words are, as best we can tell, full synonyms, and the distribution between the two seems to be mostly dialectal. Both of them are accepted in standard language. So tide mut, this word, tide shomak, this word. We have not been able to delimit any semantic differences between the two. So from synonymy to homonymy, colach, kolam, to here, you have to be careful with the conjugation class here, because so to here, colach, kolam, ya kalek silnemuim colon, the village people hearing a beautiful song, Yul Serish Pogenen, gathered at the banks at the shores of the Volga. You have to be careful not to mix this up with kolach, kolem, second conjugation verb, which means to die. Like Antonio Vivaldi, tujem shumshude nulle ikemshe irste kolen, died in 1741. The infinitive forms are homonyms. And this is something, just a fun thing, that throughout the Finno-Ugric language family, the words for here, die, and fish are often somewhere or somehow similar, because they were similar in the proto-language. So no matter where the sound changes take you, these three stems will stay somewhere close to one another if they have all been preserved in an individual language, which is not always the case. Like, for example, Udmurt has lost the stem for fish, and Estonian has lost the stem for die. But if you have all three, like Mari does, and like Finnish does or Hungarian does, they're going to be somewhat similar. Okay, another word for some where we want to have some notes. Gyn, if. We've met this one in its basic function long ago already, that it can just mean if. Trikayetgyn, if you go, me omkai, I won't go. Tidem palem illegin, if I had known this, tolam ilia, I would have come. We have also already seen it as, like as for me, concerning me, regarding me, or whatnot. If I say tide mutad uke sai pasha, this of course is good work. No megin, but as for us, if it had been us, vesemen ishtena ilia, we would have done it other one. Und chal mogai moto tuver. Look what a beautiful dress. Malamgin yershen ogesh kelche. As for me, I don't like it at all. And this is something that I've heard a lot in like colloquial Mari speech. Like you're in a restaurant with Maris and they're talking about what to order. Like I've actually heard this. Like somebody orders a beer of some type, and another Mari says, I don't like that bit. I don't like that one, or so. It's something like Muigen tidem omnal, or so. Like as for me, I'm not going to get that one. Yeah, and a third meaning is the fuzzy, annoying one. Emphatic, interrogative, contrastive. It is sometimes just used as a particle with emphatic, interrogative, contrastive, meaning that it falls into neither of the two categories. Like Molieschken, what will happen? It is sometimes like similar, like German nur would be like this, was wird nur geschehen, or so. Which is then also detached from the basic function of nur, or like Tache Toleschken, will she be coming today? Yeah. Okay, I think this is the last point on vocabulary. Maybe I'll surprise myself. Is uke combined with liyash. I believe this is revisions. I believe that we have discussed this before, so I'm going to basically coast right over this. That if we want to negate liyash, to be in the future, to be, to become, we have two ways of negating it. We can do it with standard verbal negation, or we can use uke combined with the positive forms of liyash. Like erla ida tol, don't come tomorrow. Tishte om li, I won't be here, or tishte uke liam. Both of these work. It seems to me very clear that the difference between the two is that that the om li will be that is more like something. I mean, the example I gave when in an earlier slide set when we were discussing this was the difference between sar okli and sar ukeliesh. The sar okli is what we could have said. Okay, so for people watching these recordings, it's first half of March 2022. So hopefully the happenings of the time will be history by then. But we have a war happening right now. So if I right now was talking about that there will be a time when there is no more war, I would say sar ukeliesh. The war will stop existing. But if this was 2 months ago and I was hoping that the war would not come to be, I would have said sar okli, the war will not happen. It will not come to be. So it is the difference between if we are saying that something is something that exists now will stop existing, or something that does not exist now will not come to exist. And if we have this, just as a rule of thumb, if we're saying omli versus ukeliam, like my interpretation would be, if I say omli means I'm not going to be coming, but ukeliam means I'm currently here, but I'm going to be gone by then. Is just the sense I get, but I cannot. I can't vouch for the fact that this is actually what Mars would be meaning in all cases. This is just what the tendency seems to be. Yeah. And here I've given you some more examples illustrating this, but you can look at these on your own later if you want. Here I've just given you some very important collocations, pairings of words that you will encounter a lot with uke and some form of lияш. Yeah, so uke lияш, to be absent, not to be here. Uke lishe as an adjective or form of that, not being absent. Ukeli met godem in your absence. This is also sometimes used metaphorically. People will talk about things after my death, for example. Ukeli mem godem, when I no longer exist after my time, etc. What will happen with my cat or so? If you're mortally ill, you might be talking about something like this. Or achana ukeli meke, once our father was no more. Here we have the departure in the metaphorical sense. Explicit, or ukeli mash, just be absent as a noun. Okay, I don't have much more to say about this, so I would proceed to the text, which pertains to the Mari religion, Mari vera nergen, about the Mari religion. I no longer remember whose turn it was, so let's start from the top. Sonia, Valentina, Sandra, Luan, everybody does one sentence and passes it on to the next person, and if you need vocabulary or so, just let me know.
Okay, Sergemi Mari Kalakun religische nergen beshagal palum. So you've said one sentence each.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sergei, I know very little about the religion of Mari people.
Yeah. Yeah. Then Valentina.
Melam Allah Rashimdan poet. So can you tell me something about it?
Yeah, then Sandra gets a very short one.
I can also do two.
Yeah, you can.
So Kuchen is on Chem. I can give it a try. Mari vlak poshlo yulashtem kizitat Kuchen shugat. The Maris hold on to their old beliefs also now.
Yeah. Then Luan.
They ocenje Mari vlakin kusotisto komal mishnagen kolinat. So maybe you have heard about the Mari people's prayers in the, what's this, like, sacred grove?
Yeah, exactly. Then Sonia.
Mutat uke kolnam. I can do one more.
Yeah.
Ikanoshke at Mari vlaken otosto pogonamash shishtem ujanam. Na molantes to kalikostes sayan Jacques Ompale. Mutat uke, I'm not quite sure. It's like without words, so without without any doubt, or
yeah, this is like just a very like a very commonly used phrase. It means like of course. Yeah.
So of course, like I did, or I have heard about them once. I even saw the gathering of Mari people in a grove. But why the people go there, I don't really know well.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really know that well, and it's like we're doing a good job, I'd say, with like translating all these enclitics and particles or whatnot, where I had such a hard time struggling to like explain them in a vacuum. But I mean, we've got these things in so many languages, like, yeah. So that was a very good translation of Saint Jacques there. Yeah, then Valentina.
Okay. Kus otto tide jumelan kumal me ver, and I can maybe do the following one too. Tushto tushkan kugu pairem, ale iktaj mogai ingek godim mutlan jur okelan kosted. Okay, so the sacred grove, it's the place of prayer to God. There, people go there together for big celebrations or during some time of maybe misfortune or issues such as during the time when it's not raining.
I have one brief question about Tushkan. Is it a full synonym with Peria?
I would say like Peria is like just together, and Tushkan would more imply like in a bigger group. Like Peria can be two people. Like I could say, let's go to the cinema together, the two of us. Like, am I asking you out on a date or so? But Tushkan really needs a group.
Okay. Shke jeshte rolo tukim dinat iktash mom jomodec se radash koshtet. I think this is impersonal, isn't it?
What?
Is this impersonal? The koshtet?
Yeah, it's like what they do, the people.
Okay.
Like we're still talking about why they are going to the grove, basically.
Okay. So they go with their own family or with their relatives to wait, to light. I can't read my notes. To plead for something from God.
Exactly. Right. Then yeah, Luan?
So wait, kumalash tolshoflak lumen euremo onapu onchelan suken shinche sotam chuktat yumultat. So those who came to pray, like wait, I'm getting confused with conjugation classes again. So I just go with sit or sit down. I forgot.
They sit down.
Okay, so they sit down. Like wait, what is suken is like? Oh, this is given as a phrase here in the vocal. So they kneel down. In front of like intentionally chosen holy tree. Then they they light something. What's this? What is sota?
A candle.
Oh, so they light a candle and they pray, I guess.
Yeah. So this word sota, it's actually, unless I'm completely mistaken, we don't have any Hungarian speakers left, but Hungarian has, unless I'm completely mistaken, the Hungarian word for candle comes from the same Turkic origin. So it's one of those things where Mari and Hungarian share words that are not Uralic. Like I just saw Reka talking about how cool it is that Mari, Olmapu, and Hungarian Almafa, apple tree, both are the same barred stem followed by the same inherited stem. Okay, then Sonia.
Utlarakšan Jelmari Kalek Shurno Lektish Verch, Volek Verch Kumalan. I think like I understand the words, but like a bit difficult to put it together. So like to greater extent, this uppvaraction. And is it like the people from the Mari people from the village?
Yep.
Pray for. They go to pray for crops or for or on behalf of the cattle.
Yeah. But then Valentina.
Okay. Marikalekin Yomejomogai Luman. So, and what's the name of the god of the Mari people?
Yeah.
And here I have a question. Is it like multiple gods, or it's the same divinity just with different names?
That's a very good question. It's like it is, I would in this case read it as singular, that the person asking is saying like, what is the god of the Mari people? But then the person can say, well, the Mari, like, okay, this is like spoiling the next sentence already, but here it is instead, well, actually it's several. So yeah, it is something like a case where the context can force a pluralic reading, like in the next sentence. But in this case, if the context has not already forced it, I would read it as singular. Like that this person is still working on,
doesn't know, yeah,
on the assumption that it's monotheistic, that we're talking about one God, like in a Christian context. But now comes the thing, no, actually it's blah, blah, blah.
Thank you.
Okay, so then it's Sandra, I think.
Turin Jumjo Peshuko Turl, Mutlan Oshkeche Jumo, Mlandava, Mlandaon, Mardes Jumo, Chinava, Perke Jumo Damulat. Their god has many different names, or it's very different. For example, there is Oshkiche Yumo, the god of the bright day, I guess. Yeah. Mlandava, the mother of the earth. Mlandaon, the ruler of the earth. Martus Yumo, the god of wind. Shochinava, the mother of birth, origin, something like
the
that.
birth mother. Yeah.
Perkiyumo, the god of abundance, and others. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And I liked, if I can just share something that that Luan mentioned, was the Perkiyumo sounds like Italian Mari pigeon. And I suggested this would be like if you go to the allegedly Italian pizzeria in Yoshkaula, and there is such a place, and you order a margarita pizza, and it comes and it has dill all over it, then that is Perkiyumo.
I'll need to go there once it's possible. I cannot not go there.
Yeah, but this is very, very typical of Russian. It's like if you can put dill on it, you will put dill on it.
Yes. I mean, you could still cover it all in mayonnaise or ketchup if you want to cover up the dill. So
true. Food without mayonnaise is missing something.
Yeah. Okay, then Luan was up next.
Okay, so ještě karametnagen kolashtuče nam karametche dide jumo alje iya. So I like also something like not I'm figuring out so Deutsche Nam is basically just an indicator that this collage is not finished, or because I don't know, I don't really want to translate this with I tried to hear, or I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, I here, especially since it's not with a converb, it's with an infinitive.
Oh yes, sure.
So it is kind of like I've tried to like
gather information.
That's it.
Or I try to die probably.
Yes.
Exactly. So I try. So I try to gather like information or to hear about Karamet. So is Karamet God or devil.
Yeah, exactly. So keremet, this is a sort of a Wanderwort word that has moved around in the area. It's originally Arabic, and you have it in all kinds of languages in the region with different meanings. We're going to look at the Mari meaning now. In Chuvash, unless I'm completely mistaken, it is a kind of ritual tree where people bind like colorful ribbons on for, I mean, I'm weak enough when it comes to Mari theology. So Chuvash theology and folkloristic and whatnot is really over my head. But the fun thing, a few years ago, I was at a conference in Cheboksary, where we then in Chuvashia, and as an excursion, we went to a forest where there was one of these holy trees for the Chuvash, which they called the keremet, which had all these things tied to it. And then for the group picture, the organizers of the conference, they got everyone, and this included some Maoris too, to stand in front of the tree, and then they got the camera, and then it was like, everybody say keremet, like instead of cheese. And oh boy, were some people uncomfortable with that. It's like imagine you have like a group of highly religious Southern Baptists from the US on a tour, and you stand for a picture, and it's like, okay, everybody say Satan. It was very absurd. Yeah, okay, but we are going to now hear about what keremet means for the Maoris, and it's Sonja's turn.
Keremetlan kumalmet peshtoshto yela. Shall I continue, or is there?
Yeah, you can if you want.
Excuse my French. I've forgotten the numbers.
Lat ikamshe.
Lat ikamshe. Lat kokamshe kuramashtak. Rushkazanyeshte vozmo ulmash. So like praying to spirits is a very old custom. About this custom, this custom is mentioned or written about in old legends from the 11th and 12th century.
Yeah, like old Russian legends from that time. Yep. Then Valentina.
Okay, keremet shomak Arab keremat shomak dene kildalt shoga. So the word keremet is connected to the Arabic word keramat.
Sandra.
I lost where we are.
Rushlage, third line.
Rushlage chudo manin onchikta. I could continue.
Yeah.
Keremet fish shukuda turlian kajek kombo ludo pi kurik kostamat shutlinat otpitare. Try to come up with a way to incorporate manmen into this.
Yeah, like basically it shows what is said with sort of, which is just a very roundabout way of saying what it means.
It equates to the Russian word wonder, so to say. A keremet can be very many and different things: a bird, a goose, a duck, a dog, a hill, a spruce, and other things. You can not stop counting.
Yeah, you can't even count them all. One thing the text is not telling you here, keremet is also, since we were just excusing some French, keremet is also Mari French. So it's like Mari swearing. It's the typical thing of to say, ah, damn it, or whatnot. He's ah, keremet, or whatnot. Okay, then Luan finishes the paragraph.
Chila Pertis William Kale Karamet Shotesh Ocean. So the people saw like every like force of nature as Karamet.
Yeah, yeah. So they were made like responsible for everything. Yeah, then Sonia.
Keremetre puro ale osalvi. I will just read one more. Modene jumodech oyartemaltesh. And the spirits or the spirit, are they good or bad power?
Yeah.
And how do we how do they differ from God?
Exactly. Then Valentina.
Vet kalik jumelanat keremetlanat kumalen. So after all, people have prayed both to God and to the spirits.
Jumelan Shanamash Bararak Shochin Pasham Ishten Ilash Tunameke. The believing in God was created later. Okay, before or after? After?
After, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, after after life, I know what I want to say, but I'm stuck with the word. Sorry. After the agricultural revolution, basically.
That's what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That literally is after people began living, working, doing field work. And this isn't like now living as more than a spectral thing, like after people started like doing agriculture. Yeah, then Luan.
So Tutlan Ishanash Tungalme Shapishte Karametim or Salvis Imen on Chash Tungalenid. So like in the time when like people started praying to him or like to God, like they started to look at Karamet as like evil force.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I have no background in theology whatsoever, so I can't say if this is how accurate this is. But the way they are framing it is sort of similar to what happened in Central Europe with Krampus, if you're familiar with that. Like how you have Krampus as sort of like the evil flip side to Saint Nicholas bringing presents in December. But I believe it's believed that Krampus actually predates the introduction of Saint Nicholas in some cases, and it was like only with like the introduction of like the good side of the force were then older customs reanalyzed as evil in parentheses. Yeah, so then Sonia.
I would just like to add that actually Mari theology is probably worth looking into.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
once the language knowledge is good enough,
yeah.
at least for us or for me, because that sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm lost now. Tide čeložat peš ongai ashe me vot mum yotnem ela kyotugai chimari. So this all is very interesting, and I would also like to ask what is or who is Chimari? So like the odd. I don't know how to translate it actually.
It's like
English.
who. Usually we just translate it as Chimari as like a specific thing, but like literally it's like chi is like pure, clean, the clean Mario. So like who are the clean Mari, the pure Mari, what and whatnot. And I mean, then we're gonna see what they are in the next one. Yeah, okay. Then Valentina.
Chimari vlak tineš puridimo vlak ulit. Maybe I will just do one more because it's short. So latkud shokurim što Mari kundemin rush kugijanishish purimeshke. Mari vlakim viesh tineš purtash tungalinit. So the Chimari are people who were not converted.
Yeah, like the non-baptized.
The non-baptized, yes. So in the 16th century, after the Mariland were or kind of entered the Russian state, Mari people, I guess, were converted by force.
Yeah. Then Sandra.
Converted by force.
So here, Shke.
Okay, so thank you. Shke komen binnen Purusho Shukajak in Ogil. There weren't many that got baptized out of their own free will.
Then Luan.
Purishat Iktashmugai Parishim Nalashlan Verch Vele Ves Verash Kusnen. So those who, or like a part, I guess, of those who were baptized moved to a different place only to get some kind of income.
Careful though, not a different place because it is not verish but verash.
Sorry, yes, sure. To a like different faith or religion. Or
yeah, and I mean this is also again something that has happened many times. This is like also how Iran became Islamic, that after the Arabic conquests of Iran, it was also like they didn't force people to become Muslims, but they had some pretty nice tax incentives, and that's all it took. Okay, then Sonia.
Mari vlak tunesh portemodech utlashmanen poshkert kundemesh shelen korzenet. So, but I suppose it's but this gun in this case, because it's also mentioned in the vocabulary, like in the 18th century, Mari people. So like in order to escape this baptism, they went and hid in Bashkortostan region.
Yeah. Then Valentina.
Ilantolin pravoslavni vera Marikalekin ilishkije Shingenpuren. So with time, the Orthodox faith or religion entered the life of the Mar people.
Yep. Then Sandra.
Atachumari kalikin verajunukai, and what kind of faith do the Maris have today?
Right, then Luan.
Mari vlag ting shortish do kok veram kochat, so Maris mainly follow two religions.
Then Sonia.
Ik užášeže pravoslavy veram kucha vesaže kusotesh lekten pertus jumelan kumalish šukasht kok veram iktash ushenet nuno čerkashkat koshtet oteshkat kumalashkayat. Oof. So like one part follow the Orthodox religion, and the other part, so like these people go to sacred groves and they pray to gods of nature or to nature gods. And is it like mostly like it's like, again, I understand the words, but I'm not able to put it into English. It's like that like a big part or most people believe at the same time, like, or practice at the same time two religions.
Yes, that's it.
And they go to church and they go and pray in groves.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and many of them combine the two religions into one, is what it literally says. And I mean, and this is indeed very common. And sort of the justification is always, well, I'm covering all my bases while I'm living in this word. I don't know what the truth is in the next word. And so if I go to church and I go to the grove, no matter if the Orthodox are right or the Chimari are right, I've covered all bases. Yeah. Okay, then Valentina.
Kizit marikundemishte kuchdonile kandash kusotim palenalme nuninko klagich kud shudo koloshim kogija nesh restrish purtemo. So currently in the Mari land 648 holy groves are known, out of which 327 are a part of a state register.
Exactly. Then Sandra.
Каждый им пугутыня да мер тматышым тарат, мутлан шиже кумалтыш морко шнур мари курек районлашты ештурлашты шупо чимарим пога. I remember it's a causative of attach, but that doesn't help me.
Which one?
Attach.
Yeah, it's like to carry out, to carry something out.
So different holy groves. No. That Tulu go with the holy groves?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
In different holy groves.
In different holy groves, big world and congregational prayers are carried out every year.
Yeah.
For example, the autumn prayer in the districts of Marko, Shimo, and Mari Turek. In Yoshkaola, many Chimaris gather. No, gathers many people, and also in Yoshkaola.
Yeah. Basically, it's like this. For example, the spring prayer collects many Chimaris in the Marko district, in the Shanur district, in Mari Turek and Yoshkaola. So all of this belongs together, like where they are all gathered. And about the whole Tunya and Mer, like word prayer and then societal prayer, it's like these prayer ceremonies, they have different ranks depending on like how many people are invited. There's like the village ones, the very small ones, and Mer is the one step up, and Tunya is basically like everyone. And it's like, I mean, it's like Tunya is like everyone that's interested in it. It's sort of like when the Americans call their baseball thing the World Series, even though it's just Americans doing it because, well, okay. Then next up is Luan.
So Tunya Komatishish Mari and that eldeste initiator so to the world prayer. Also people living outside of Mari are coming.
Yeah, exactly. Then Sonia.
Kysytys членат volgdo shunamash da poro kumadine meashash ulat. So it's necessary to come to enter the groves, the sacred groves with clear or bright thoughts and good mood.
Yeah.
And so like everyone has to enter. That's the chilanat.
Yeah. You have to cleanse yourself of negative thoughts before you go into the holy grove. Yeah. Then Valentina.
Merden Tunya Kumaltish Modene Oir Maltet. So what's the difference between the congregational prayer and the word one?
Then Sandra.
Onajeng Vyacheslav Aktu Ganov Manmi je počeš Tunya Kumaltish Tide Turle Ver Republiktich Ervish Gitchat Tolsho Kalikim Shumerisho Kugu Kumaltish. According to the priest Vyacheslav Aktuganov, the world prayer is in different places outside the Republic. For also people coming from outside the Republic. A big prayer that also gathers people from outside the Republic.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's again one of these things easier from the back. That it's the word prayer is a prayer, a big prayer that collects people that come also from outside of the Republic. Yeah. Then Luan.
Todo en shagalshe vitchum indesh tol olmo dena ataraltesh. So it is like held with at least 5, 7, or 9 altars.
Yeah. So it's Chimari Woodstock. Then Sonia.
To što kažne kumlan yang tolen kirtesh. So there every I'm thinking about the word kumalam, so I will start from the beginning. So a person can come.
Okay, so
there.
Kumel is like mood, spirit, and whatnot.
Okay, so like cheerful or in high spirits.
It's more like everyone who wants to.
Okay.
Everyone who has the inclination to do it can come, basically.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
then
can come.
right, then Valentina.
Няком алтиш тудо отишкат вич алешими гич. Амерко малтиш кум и гич ertaraltesh. So I think this means that the word prayer is arranged every 5 or 7 years, and the local one every 3 years. Or I don't know if it means that the person can attend the ward one every 5 to 7 years and the local one every 3 years.
No, I think it's more, it's like it's carried out every
It's carried out, yeah.
5 or 7 years. And then the
local one every 3 years.
Yeah. Okay, then Sandra.
Merk matus posna condems yal last is calikum chumera. The congregational prayer brings together people living in separate in villages of separate districts.
Right. Then Luan.
Tudo ting shortish to kum beach tool almost dena ataraltesh. This is like exactly, so almost exactly the same sentence I just had before. So it is like carried out with mainly 3 or 5 adverbs.
Exactly. Then Sonia.
No, petatas žabaš te ere kajak, which tulomum ilustame, but in previous time there was always lit almost 5 altars. It is like I've looked up the words and gayak is almost, which does not make much sense here.
Yeah, but it's postposed, so it modifies the word that stands before it. It's
almost okay, almost always.
As good as always, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, and so Patalshap is like in recent times, recently, almost always 5 are lit. Okay, then the last sentence goes to Valentina.
Acum tulol modene posnajalen kumaltishijem ertarat. And the prayers or rites in isolated villages have 3 altars.
Right, and finally we do still have a kalakmut, and that goes to, that goes to Sandra.
There it is. Usta yengin tovar vondeshe moko okush. I have to admit I didn't get to this when translating, so
okay, so tovar vondo tovar is axe, and second part is pondo is actually like the hilt or the handle, so it's like the axe handle. And moko is, unless I'm completely mistaken, moss. I'm gonna check it before it's moss.
Okay, so no moss is growing on the hilt of a talented person's axe.
Exactly. And I would understand like usta, like less like here more like active in a sense, like somebody who uses the axe so much that the moss doesn't get a chance to start growing on the handle. Okay, are there any questions to the text to be answered while the recording is going? If not, I'll stop the recording. So everybody watching at home, we're going to skip ahead now to the exercises. See you then once I find the button to stop the recording. So we're back after several weeks of break, as you might, dear listener, in the future notice on how people's haircuts and whatnot and backgrounds have changed. And we will be doing some exercises from chapter 37. And but we're not going to do all of them because we're working on a limited schedule here. But the first one we are going to do, where we have a bunch of words we want to insert into the appropriate sentence, and then we want to translate the resulting sentence. And I'm here to help with vocabulary if necessary. And we'll start with Sonia.
Мен шонго ковам ишана акочам ok.
And you have to inflect them.
The words that are to be inserted.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the parts we already know are my old grandmother believes.
Ishana is Ishana is belief. Okay. So in this case it's yumo.
That is correct, but you still need to inflect it.
Inflect it, yeah. I'm wondering what in Finnish it would be elative.
In Mari it is something else.
I would say just accusative human.
No, unless I'm completely mistaken, it's dative. Jumalan.
Jumalan. Akocham ok ushana.
Ushan. What is the co-negative form going to be?
There was a long break. Ushane.
Ushane.
Ushane. Okay.
Ushane, because we are in the second conjugation. As you can see here is ushana, that it's a second conjugation verb, and the second conjugation, the verbal stem always ends in an unstressed e or e. Okay, next up is Sandra.
Jällesakalik jumotech sai servalen. Can you help me with the verb, please?
Servalash, it is to it is like to what's the good word, like to entreat, to plead, to beseech, like through prayer you're asking for something. And like they're asking, basically they're praying for this. It's like they're begging God for, but that's just how the Mari say that they're praying.
My guess would be I suddenly unsure my microphone was on, but you wouldn't have heard me otherwise.
Yeah. Your microphone is on.
Probably shurnolektish.
That's a very good guess.
I'm not sure anymore what shurno is, but lektish is like harvest.
Yeah, shurno is like grain, seed, or like.
So the people of the village are praying to God for a good grain harvest in the accusative.
And that would be?
Lektish.
Very good. So then Luan.
Avasha sotam chukdish da yumurtashtin galyon. So like his mother like, I think this was like lit a candle or something.
Exactly.
And started to pray.
Yes, and very nice usage of simple past tense one. Okay, then Valentina.
Okay, so I think that's perkan, lige, klassisch yellow, and perkan is ample, but is it like bon appetit or
yes, exactly
similar? Yeah.
So perkan on its own, it means like ample, and you often find it in religious contexts like in prayer or whatnot. Outside of religious contexts, the only place you encounter this is this one very widely used phraseologism, perkan lige, which is like, may it be ample, it's bon appetit.
Appetit,
Yeah.
sadielo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then Sonia gets the
zero challenge. Student like corridors. So the students are standing in groups in the corridor.
That is exactly correct. Okay. Then, yeah, not that it matters, but the second one, I'm going to skip this, just answering questions. But now we have a little joke of sorts, where everybody should translate a sentence and, if necessary, inflect words. And it is called a la Monda, perhaps he will forget. And Sandra starts with the first sentence.
Yeah, I really didn't review any vocabulary for 4 weeks.
I'm here to help, though.
Okay, Timulan cer. No. No.
Do you want to skip? Or do you want help?
I mean, I don't know which part of the sentence Cerke would be. It's,
okay, maybe we can just do, you do the question and then Luan does the meta thing. But maybe if we figure the verbs out, it will be clearer. Charnash was to quit, to stop, like doing something.
Okay, you want to stop. Why do you want to stop?
Sorry, it's not want to. The ne is part of the N is part of the stem here. It's charnash.
Why did you stop?
Why did you stop? This here?
What was?
I'll help you by putting in.
Wait, you're going?
Exactly, that's it.
To church. Why did
exactly.
you stop going to church? Cherkelan? No,
Cherkish. Very good. Okay.
Okay.
So it wasn't that far gone, the necessary now. Okay. Thanks. Do you want to do the rest of the sentence, or should we pass it on to Luan?
I can do the rest. Judesh manesh pop ik schon Maridich. What is pop? The priest. He asked. I'm not sure how do I incorporate the manesh.
Okay, this is not trivial. So manesh literally is just he says, or they say, he said, he, she, they say. But it is often used, and that's why it's here in the translation, why it's given here, it is said. Manesh, it's often used like as a marker to say that something is like a story, a joke, an anecdote, or whatnot. And it's used as a noun in a sense that the Mari word for gossip is manesh manesh. Like if you say stop talking or like stop spreading gossip, I'd say stop spreading your manish, like what is said, what is said. So often it's like when grandfather starts telling stories of whatever, he'll put in the manish often to like just indicate that this is a story. So it is to be viewed detached from the syntax of the sentence. So it is, why do you stop coming to church? Ask, it is said, like one says, it's the sort of the story goes, and then you continue with the regular program.
Asks the Pope of one old Mari.
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost, it's a priest, not the Pope, but yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Right, then Luan gets the second line.
Okay, I have zero idea what to do with this line. So wait, so you move it, and then okay, so I actually don't really get what this is supposed to be about.
Mm-hmm. It's basically, it's a joke. So okay. You can just do to this, and then we'll give the rest to Valentina.
Okay, but I also don't know like what case like should the song of like be in, because
let's look at the individual words and see what might make sense.
Yeah, so like it's something God loves, or I don't know, but then why is Nalash like not in like Sharon, but
because it is God likes to take.
Okay, so God likes to take, like, wait, something, I don't know, is this like to his own people or elder or no,
what?
Or like the elderly people or something to himself, or
that's exactly it.
Okay, so is it like Shongo Blackim?
Blackim, that's it.
Okay.
So after all, God likes to take the elder to himself.
Okay.
Was ist da gesagt?
Like the like old man was this like answered.
Yeah. And then Valentina does the rest.
Okay, so I get the point. I'm not sure about the cases, but let's see. So I think it may be my shincha plan koimem chernemat ala mi monda shunem.
Almost myim, exactly.
So I think that means that if I stop being visible to the eyes, he may forget about me.
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah, like if I don't show up so that he doesn't see me, maybe he'll forget about me. Yeah. Okay, like I'm guessing jokes are less funny if one dissects them completely word for word, but solid jokes still to ask me. Okay, so now we have some exercises, just sentence to sentence translating into English, and we start with Sonia.
Memnan üderna tüşte atındanım me uğramıştı ujena. Our daughter there. Here and yours.
Exactly.
We saw in the street.
Yeah, outside, basically.
Outside. Yeah. Na ulica, in Russian.
Exactly.
Does it make any sense? Or
yeah, no, that's exactly it. So our daughter is here, but yours we saw outside. Yeah. So
okay.
We already see
so
what
there might be.
There might. No, okay. I was just going to say that. So we already see what we're practicing here, just so we see that the genitive forms can be used as nouns.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Sonia, you were going to say something.
No, I was looking for deeper wisdom behind the words.
No. There's not. It's really about this grammatical feature. Then Sandra.
Chila yuchilan pulik important pue lit Milan Mondanet. they gave a present to every child, but they forgot about me.
They forgot about mine.
Ah.
Yeah, million lan.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, then Luan.
Ivanova, then Petrova, Diplom Bashashtim, Loden Damo, Uke Nonim Ella on Shalam. So like, have you read Ivanov's and Petros with diploma thesis? No, I like will look at theirs tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm guessing it should be 2 diploma theses, because I don't think you're allowed to write one together even in Russia. But
yeah, probably it's like unofficial.
Yeah. Yeah. Then Valentina.
Okay. Ti departim shkemin lan om shotlo. So I do not consider this house my own.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, then Sonia.
Yeçevlak çılanat paçılamut vazında. Kızıt menun vılgın buam. Kın güç tingalına. So children, now we all or everything.
No, Chilanat, it's sent you all, basically. All of you?
You all have written or wrote poems. Now I will read them, or I will collect them to read them. Or maybe we will just read them.
Yeah, I'll read them, and it's with poem. It's like reading give. It's like in German it would be like vorlesen. It's like I'll read them for you or so.
Okay. From which person shall we start, or do we start with?
Yeah, from whose poem, basically. Okay, then Sandra gets the last one.
Can you actually make it a bit bigger?
Yes, I can. Sorry.
Thank you. Much better, thanks. Yengin junge shilum kichalida skindanum oda uj. What was kichalash again?
Kichalash is to search, to look for.
You or y'all are looking for people's mistakes.
Yeah, people's or others' mistakes. It works. I mean, yang can be either person or others, but I would in this context more say like the mistakes of others.
So you're looking for the mistakes of others, but don't see your own.
Exactly, that's it. Okay. So number 5, I'm going to skip over this. It's translating tomorrow, but this is just more illustrations of when to use the suffix gынat for indefinite forms. So if you're feeling still like you have a hard time differentiating the gынat forms from the other forms, these are just like some English language inspirations where one could use it. But we will still try to see if we can figure out the difference between Allah, iktash, kerek, ketch, and gынat. Whereas, I mean, ketch, kerek, no difference that I can put my finger on at this point. But the others we will see. But I mean, we were nice in picking that you can figure it out even if you don't have the perfect sense of when to take Allah and when to take iktash, for example. And first one up, unless I'm mistaken, is Luan.
So Schoczmo Gitchen Schumat Gitche machte wait. So it's like, I guess, wait, some, oh my God. It's probably Ketchkunam.
That is correct.
Kashne Kitchen Pashamishtina. So come like any time from Monday until Saturday, we are working every day.
Exactly. So, and here we see that we use the catch form to show that it's like the indifference, whenever. We're here any day, anyway, so you can come whenever you want. So, Valentina?
Okay, so I think that's iktashka melam ingirtagin, pashashte ulam manin kalasa. So, if anyone calls me, please say that I'm at work.
Exactly. So here we see the iktash forms are the like the unknown unknowns, I think I call them at some point, that we don't even know if somebody exists or not. There might be somebody that caused, but might not be, to set it apart from the Allah forms that we are going to see at some point, which would be like if I say that somebody stole my bag or so. I know that the person exists, I just don't know who it is. That would be then a known unknown. I know that this unknown person exists. Okay, next up is Sonia.
Okay, Gingeshim Panash, something Kudalman Mengeshte Shinchaman Ogul. And I would say it's like no one.
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
no. Because
it's like in the summer. I'm not sure about Kanash.
Kanash is like to have a holiday, to relax, to rest.
Okay. Oh, sorry. And Kudalman.
Okay, Kudalash is like to drive, to ride. And man is
the necessity.
Exactly.
Form. So like somewhere. Allah Kushech.
That would Allah Kushech would be from somewhere, but you want to be
Allah Molam.
That would be for some reason.
Okay. Gerek Kushto.
That would be somewhere, but no movement.
Okay.
Look for one that would.
Kushko gынат.
Exactly, that's it.
Almost the last possibility. Okay.
But not the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you translate it still?
Yeah. In summer, it's necessary to like go somewhere to relax, and like you mustn't sit at home. Exactly.
So here the gınat, it's like I have a hard time sort of differentiating it from the kerek and kitch, where we said that was indifference. This is inevitability. It is necessary for something, blah blah blah. And sort of the difference is, if you really want to work hard to find a difference, is that kerek and kitch, they sort of have an indifference instilled to it. Like, I don't care, doesn't make a difference to me. Whereas gınat, it's inevitability, it's less negative in a sense. It's like there has to be something, there should be something. I'm not talking about that I don't care where you go. I'm just saying that there has to be a place where you go on the holiday. Okay, then Sandra.
Tengeče, wait, when was it? Is it Alamolan?
Yeah.
Tengeče Alamolan kužap malenko ten kartin omil. Možečka stene kofem juvenat. Yesterday, I couldn't fall asleep for a long time somehow.
Yeah.
For some reason.
And then the helpful response is?
What's możeć?
Perhaps.
Maybe you drank coffee in the evening?
Exactly. As per usual, the Mars have the answers. So możeć, unless I'm mistaken, it's sort of it comes from Russian like может быть, like it might be, or so, that this możeć became somewhat bastardized. Yeah. But here we see with now the Allah form that we know that there is a reason why you didn't fall asleep, but you don't know what the reason is. Thus Allah rather than iktash. So next is Luan.
Yidem sure kusa mango kayat and then mayem idashono iktash kuse mien shuam taksim mutlan ishiktem. So how do you come home or go home that night or this night? Don't think of me. I will arrive somehow. I probably call a taxi.
Yeah, like for example, I'll call a taxi, but this is now a case I can't tell you why it's iktash kuzey and not ala kuzey, which would seem just as plausible to me. Kech kuzey also, like I'll find some way, or kuzey gınat. For me, all would work here, but I mean, I'm not a native speaker. Okay, next up is Valentina.
Okay. Tide pasham kerek kushto kechves olashte kechves elishte ishtash liesh internet vela lige. So this job can be done anywhere or from anywhere, even in a different city, a different country. You only need the internet.
Very good. Then Sonia gets the, it's not even that minimal yet. Wait, I'm gonna move these sentences up above this so that you can see both the prompt and the translations. Yeah. So yeah, Sonia.
Thank you. But yeah, something means secretum palen nalen göturlan kalasen kerten. I would say somehow.
Could also be.
Or iktashke somebody.
No, because it is.
It's like the sentence is like my Petya something. My secret, like got to know my secret, and who could tell him.
Yeah, it can't be iktash kö because we already have a subject with Petya.
Okay. You also to somebody maybe, but gınat. Or somehow.
That would sound plausible, but we don't have that anymore. There is one that works very well, though.
Is it ala kuchish?
That's it.
But it was only a guess.
Yeah, but it was a correct guess.
And it's this kind of like somehow or
no, kushech is, what is kushech?
From somewhere.
That's it.
From somewhere, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jeremy. I really admire your pain.
No problem. So Petya got to know my secret from somewhere, and then Kötutlan Kalasen Kerten, who could tell him, basically. And now I would say that it's a zero challenge one, but it's not, because at some point I didn't mark one that we already have. So Sandra gets a minimal challenge one.
So Minjerginat Oksa is Kolen Kochkaslan Sita. Amazing. I'm just not sure how to translate Minjerginat, how to make an indefinite form of that.
Some amount of some or so.
They still had some money.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no possessive suffix, so it's just, I mean, it is a bit tricky to translate into English, but it's like some amount of money. Koden is
was left.
Exactly.
Some amount of money was left. It will be enough for the food.
That's exactly it. Okay, great. Then, whoops. That's it for this exercise. Yeah, let's just go right on to the next one, and we are starting with Luan.
So Luchina lakem kniga kudo jüdischke Ushina. So we invite our readers to the library evening or night.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what this exercise is trying to teach us. Maybe I will.
It's probably when I'm working in the library, like until on the first day until 18 o'clock, and then just decide to go to the Mari section, and then it ends up being a library night. So.
Exactly. Now I think it's actually about the nominal usage of participles that we have here. Okay, Valentina's next.
Okay, so tužem indešu do lačim I deci oncic mari kaliko klašte šuko tunem dime lean. So before 1917, there were many illiterate people among the Maris.
Very good. Just one note that the year numbers should be ordinal. So tužem indešu do lačimše. Yeah, but otherwise it was very good. Then Sonia.
Doorshashtem alem elegen, ustellen alem ele. It's doorshashetem. The second part is like the table is not set.
Well,
I did not set the table.
Yeah, it's literally I would have set the table.
I would have so if I hadn't known.
If I had known.
If I had known, and this earlier, it's the marker for the past tense. If I had known about their coming or like their arrival.
Almost.
Your arrival.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, if I had known that you will come. Yeah, and like what's relevant here is that we have the shash, the future necessitive particle, so that that you should come, that you would come, so that you will come. Yeah, something like that. Okay, then Sandra.
Facebook is to meneer Jurtashet Ulo. How many friends do you have on Facebook? Takšim nelshude visle shim no en shukishtim palamelan vele shotlim. All in all 457, but most of them I only consider acquaintances.
Yes, I hate to be number shaming because it was almost perfect, but remember it's vitle, not visle, that we have this alternation between t and z. Yeah, so and also if you have it without saying Yoltasha, so you need the long form. Yeah, so it would be nulshude vitle shimmet.
For what it's worth, it took me the longest time to think of the how to make come from visit to vitle. It took me a while. So
yeah. Okay, so then next is Luan.
So Yoltash Uderem Shuko I Goldimov Laktene Pashameshta. So my girlfriend worked many years with deaf people.
Yeah, or has worked or something like that. Yep. Okay, then Valentina.
Okay. Yotshashtam Yotsa Moshtem Gin Vashishtem. And I think that's ask your questions. I'll answer if I can.
Yeah. So like a more literal way would be something like ask what you're going to ask or something like that. Like just to make sense of the future necessitative nature why we have the shash in here.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, then Sonia.
Тирекъвът пешерге садлан налшежат шагал. This shop is very expensive, and therefore it's. I'm not quite sure how to translate it. It's Chagall. It's the opposite of expensive, cheap. Yeah.
No, it's few.
Few. So it's necessary to get few, but
not necessarily.
Sorry, no, shujat.
Yeah. So this
and therefore, like you buy only few.
Therefore, there are only few buyers.
This is a buyer.
Yeah. Nalshed, the taker, the buyer, or so. The store is and
okay, thank you.
Yeah. And one way to remember the word Chagall, I don't know if who of you knows Ksenia Chagall, a linguist who just started as professor of Finno-Ugric studies at the University of Munich. Very nice person, very good typologist. And her name, Ksenia Chagall, means literally there are few Ksenias. And she's one of many linguists in the Russophone scene who have names that mean something in Mari. There's also a linguist called Sergei Sai, which of course means Sergei is good. And he is good. So, and there are indeed few Ksenias. So, yeah. But Ksenia already knows what her name means in Mari, so you don't have to go up to, hey, your name means da da da. She will just say, oh, you've talked to Jeremy. Okay, next up was Sandra, I believe.
Alamum umiddelmem kuteret. You said something incomprehensible?
Yeah, you're just saying something incomprehensible, something that is not to be understood. Then Luan?
My loved one is far away right now.
Exactly. And Valentina?
Spectacle Petimeke Onchishowlak Luminut Sovim Kiran Shogenet. So after the end of the show, the audience clapped, applauded for 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Which of course in a Russian context, you start being scared. If there's 10 minutes of applause, people are probably afraid not to. Okay, we are going to skip the translate into Mari exercises, and we now exercise 10. Now it's about a spectral converb constructions, I believe, and we'll start with Sonia.
During the war, my grandparents suffered hunger.
Yeah, like they starved. And like literally it is like they hungering lived, so it's like long lasting hunger. Right, then Sandra.
Dida I damned it shukum to name nalash lияш. Nalash was also kind of auto-benefactive, right?
Exactly. But to nem nalash is something that we can consider this a set phrase. It's very commonly used.
Learning take.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. It is somewhat similar to palen nalash, but it's like to learn.
Get to know. Yeah.
To get to know. Yeah.
A lot can be learned from this person.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Then Luan.
Kushu kwano dechbara telat malen nalashkulesh. So after a long journey, you need to, I guess, get some sleep.
Exactly. Yeah. So here, like the Malen Nalashi, it's like on the one hand, you wonder why do I need like this auto benefactive something, but then in English, I also say get some sleep rather than sleep in this context. So, yeah. Valentina.
Okay. Isi udirem la plandiške kaj menergen shonen ila. So my little daughter constantly thinks maybe about going to Lapland.
Yep, exactly. Right. Then Sandra. Oh no, sorry, Sonia.
Milan kofem шолтен по, пожалуйста. So like for me, bring me coffee. I'm not sure about Scholten.
That's like cooking.
Cooking. So like, so make me a coffee.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Please make me some coffee. Yeah. And then Sandra.
Elektron adresam poiva. Right to give. Like write down your email address for me.
Yeah, like would you write down your email address for me? Exactly. It's benefactive. Okay, we have to do some inflecting, inserting for number 11. And I'm now it's again the problem with I'm going to do it like this now. I'm going to take these out first so that we can see both the top and the bottom of this. And we are starting with Luan.
Okay, so ke chavainem ludem kidem null. Wait, I figure this should be like in there. So kidem null.
Yeah, yeah, in the key we have plural, but who knows why nöltesa or nölte, both would sound fine to me. And yeah.
Translation also. So who like probably like those who have read Chavain, raise your hand.
Okay, then yeah, Valentina.
Then tide muresto juratimash nergen moraltet.
Moralt?
Yeah, I think moraltet.
It would sound plausible to me, like they sing, blah blah blah, but it's reflexive, so it's
so
like
moraltesh, maybe.
Moraltesh, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, it is sung. Okay.
Yeah, that if you would want to do the third person plural, you'd have to do it without the reflexive.
Right. So the song is about love, basically. Sing about love.
Exactly. Right. Then Sonia.
Something. What is pearl?
Pölem is room. It's yeah, it's the M is it's not it's loaned as a whole thing from Turkic. It's like bülme in Tatar. So it's not a Mari suffix. It's just pölem is room.
Room. I would say Kodesh.
Let's do the rest of. We can. I know it's. I always say start with the verb, but so it's mean if I don't have the verb. But what we can look at the other elements. What we have, the room.
The room. Like 10 minutes.
Yeah, in 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah, it's like it will be filled with people in 10 minutes.
Exactly. So, and to be filled, it's a new one, but it's here. Temash, temam is. It
so
should be here.
Temesh.
Temesh, yeah. In the key, it's in the past tense, but there is no way of knowing that, so that's mean. Temesh or temen. Yeah. Maybe I will make a note for myself here. Whoops. That maybe we will make it a bit more less ambiguous then. Okay, next up is Sandra for this one, for number 4.
It's a Yellowstone lampish shin. I really like it in your village. Tishakin ilashak ilya.
Here's something that might help you. Tishaken is here in the, where is it? Yeah, the ordering is not right, I think, here. Tishaken is here, but in the lative. So we want a verb that that is okay with the lative, and it's weird stuff.
Oh, okay, okay. Kodash would kind of do that.
Yeah,
but does that work?
That does work. Oops, sorry, I'll be right back. Kodash is correct, and you just need to inflect it and translate it.
Tishak and Ilashak.
No, it's just indicative first person present.
Again. So indicative kodan, yeah.
Which then means, oh, sorry.
Yeah. It's I was okay. Wait. It's in the past, and it's
no, it's not. Like ille, kodam ille, this could be it could be the compound past tense, but it could also be conditional, like I would.
Oh, okay. And that I only know from context?
Yes, basically.
Oh, okay, good. I could even move to live here.
Yeah, I could even stay to live here, basically.
Stay.
Yeah, like I would or so. And I mean, it's like a conditional to express an abstract desire, which, yeah, I mean, it works in English too. So.
Yeah, but how, like, if this is stay, how does this work with the directionality of, like?
Okay, so stay is one of the, so if we remember the lative, when we were talking about the lative is used often when we have directional expressions that are sort of on the cusp between, like, so illative is clear, illative is in somewhere. And sorry, no, initive is clear, initive is in something. Illative is into something, especially when we have a movement where we can say from the beginning to an end.
Yeah,
like,
and for the lative, we don't always know where it starts.
Exactly, like sitting down on a couch, because you can't like from where or whatnot. And staying is something that in numerous Uralic languages actually is indicate with a movement into, like in the Finnic languages, you stay into a village or whatnot.
Okay.
So it is also in the fuzzy scene of ambiguous spatial expressions where you, and that makes the lative attractive here.
Because I was thinking more of kodash as in like, no, what's bringing again?
Kondash.
I was thinking
Yeah.
kondash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, then Luan.
Okay, so that original gubaflak shinchat. So the other one.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're right.
Okay, so old women are sitting in front of the house.
Very good. Okay, then I'm gonna do a swap. And okay, and oops, sorry, I want to have it exactly here. And yeah, next up is Valentina.
Aista udervlak nolca kustaltina. So girls, let's get up and dance.
Yeah, this would sound plausible in principle, but this is also a very like a very heavy phraseological thing that there's always, this is like always a thing that is that says let's sing and dance.
Let's sing and dance.
And that would be then let's sing would be
Okay, so it has to be moraltash, then moralteza.
Not it should be first person plural. Let's blah blah blah.
Okay, so moraltina.
Yeah. Yeah. So oops. Yeah, and I feel a bit dishonest in marking the stress like this because this is like also lyric in a very commonly known Eastern Mari song where it is Aista erga udervelak muralten kustaltena, and then it goes on like also, hey boys and girls, let's sing and dance, and then there's muraltena kustaltena semje den tavaltena, so let's sing, let's dance, and let's stomp to the melody. And it's very heavily like the with the rhythm, so it's always muraltena kustaltena, and the stress is anywhere but on the last syllable, but it's music, so different rules apply. Yeah. Next up is Sonia.
Аквариумышко яндар бедена, пожалуйста. I suppose aquarium, it's, yeah, that's the same as in Czech. And I don't know what the yandar is.
Clean, clear.
Clear. So it would be like put clear or clean water into the aquarium, please. Would it be no dash?
No.
No. Okay, so
it's a new word and the ordering is wrong.
Temash. In this case, fill up. Okay, so teme.
Yeah.
Видим teme, пожалуйста.
Yeah. And there is no way for the learner to know that here they want the singular form rather than the plural form. Sorry about that. Well, I'll have a look at that for the next release of this book. Yeah, Sandra is up next.
Estem bound to lat kochkush
no, it is
food is sitting on the table for you.
Yeah, but it is kochgeschim. It's accusative. You need something transitive.
Okay.
And there's only one transitive verb left.
That's true. Yeah,
that would, I mean, it's possible. That would be he, she, they is going to leave food for you on the table. And he, she, they left. And what the key says is kodenam, I left food for you on the table. But all of these versions, what you said, both are they would all be legitimate.
Oh, okay.
Again, how to know. Right, next up is Luan.
Kakshanishta vud kum metralan null tesh, probably.
Yeah. It's no way to know what tense the key expects.
The easier one.
Yeah.
Okay. So in like Kakshan, the water like rose to like 3 meters.
Indeed, it did. And I mean, it rose by 3 meters, I would assume, because I mean, I have no idea what the normal water level is in the Kokshaga. Next up is Valentina.
Okay. Yolem noish izishlan divanish shincham. I would say. So my legs got tired. I'm going to sit on the sofa for a bit.
Yep, very good. So yeah, this is here. And okay, just gonna have a look. Next one is still a short translate into, yeah, too short translate into English, and I think I'm going to skip the text about Tumbalat. It's interesting, but people can read it on their own if they want. So we can still do these 2 translate into English exercises. There are 12 sentences in total, so everybody gets 3 more sentences. And we start with Sonia.
Жаб укалан верч тендан dene washlin onkert. So like I can't lияш is to meet.
Yep.
I can't meet with you. Jab is time. Ukalan is the dative form for uke. Is it like I don't have any time to meet with you?
Exactly.
I can't meet with you at any time.
I can't meet with you. Is this here? Jab ukelan verch, because is verch. Jab, time. Uke, there is not. With lan, because there is no time, because I don't have the time. Yeah, and this is going to be the theme of this exercise, the nominal usage of the negative elements. And this is like this ukelan, you will see that a lot. I don't have exact figures from the corpus, but you'd find it thousands of times in the corpus. Often with kara rather than verch. Like jab ukelan kara would seems more like normal for me, but it's like because I don't have the time, because of the non-existence of the time, basically. Yeah, but that was a good translation anyway. Sandra.
Taču omašto alam sai ogılım ujenam. Today I saw. Okay. I saw sai ogılım. I'm wondering what the object is. If it's just, if alamom sai ogılım is the whole object.
It's Double case marking, which we usually weren't doing in Mari, but here for some reason is permissible. We have two accusatives here.
Yeah.
And I would read it. I would read them. Oops, sorry. I would probably classify this as a case of what we call apposition, where I saw something that is sai ogıl.
Not good.
Not good.
In a dream.
In a dream, exactly. Yeah. And if you have interference from Estonian, you saw something that isn't white bread. Okay. Then Luan gets the next one.
Todo ere silent oxa ukem palen ogel. So he should they like has always lived well. Like he should they like doesn't know, or I don't know what like about like, or like how like the absence of money or so.
Yeah, that's exactly. They didn't know basically what it's like not to have money. Didn't know the absence of money, basically. Okay, then Valentina.
Okay, so tide pašam külešan ogilan šutlem. So I think that means I consider this job unnecessary.
Yeah. I consider it not important.
Not
exactly.
important.
Right, then Sonia.
Ty mylam szketanen knigarzem lodash pun kertatmo. Mutat uke kertam no shuka ogalam.
Okay, let's do it element for element, or like sentence for sentence. What is the question for it?
Could you or can you bring me or like borrow me to read the book of Shketan or by Shketan?
Exactly. Like literally, can you give me Shketan's book to read?
Okay. Sorry, my English, which is not very good, is even clumsier when I try
no problem.
it as a target language for Mari. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it is all very different also when so often the phraseologisms and whatnot are so different that okay, but then the response mutat uke kertam.
Of course, like without words, I can. Mashuka oglan. I'm not quite sure. It's like, but not many.
Yeah,
not for long, or
that's it. That's exactly it.
For long.
Literally, it is but not many, not much, and it is meant not for long. Right, then Sandra gets the last of this batch.
Kumel ukishtel nimat ishtema okshu. Is kumel happy or something?
Kumel is more like mood or spirit or so.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, in the absence of the spirit, no.
Yeah, no, that it is good. It's like in the absence of a mood, like in German, wenn man keine Laune hat, wenn man keine Lust hat. If you're not in the mood to or so.
Okay.
And what is the case if you're not in the mood? If you don't have
if you're not in the mood, like you don't feel like doing anything.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
Okay, very good. And so now that gets us to the last batch where we're looking at the different usages of gyn, and we start with Luan.
Kunam gyn tigai shokshapita, like just when will this heat end?
Exactly. Not very topical right now, but yeah, Valentina.
Okay. Ishe cum gece iur okligin kumaldishim ertarena. So if it's still, or if it doesn't start raining in the next 3 days, we'll start praying.
Exactly. Then Sonia.
Erla küsütüş kayını dagın daçı munçaş buramam. It's like tomorrow we want to go to, or we will go to the field or to the meadow.
No. So going is right, but it is kaya ne da, which
like
would be
we want to.
We or da?
Sorry, would you you would go? Would you go to the meadow if today?
Wait. It's not the meadow.
So
Kus otto.
you so it's sort of like the grove.
The holy grove, yeah.
The holy grove.
And its ne is, what is that?
I thought it's the desiderative.
Exactly. If you want to go to the holy grove tomorrow. Maybe you said that and I didn't hear it
tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe I just didn't express this clearly.
Yeah.
So it's necessary to take sauna or go to sauna.
Exactly. Today one must go to the sauna. This just is the cleansing ritual and the such. Okay, then Sandra.
Tendan jalishte ujamat ulalsh rak vlak vele kolаш koshte memnan dene gitch again samerek vlakat. In your village. As I see it.
Yeah, so this is like a mirative marker. It's like you use it to express that something is surprising. I like in Austrian, German, it could be like Geschau or so. Like, will you look at that kind of sort of?
Okay, so I see in your village.
Okay, ilalshe, we must have had someone, it's like aged, older.
Only the older people go to, not sure what kolаш is.
Pray.
Go to pray.
We is correct, but memnandene is
with us.
Yeah, it's like in German bei uns, like at our place or so, like.
In our village, basically. Wait, what's gin also only? No.
As for, in this case, as for our village, in our village, on the other hand, or so.
The young do.
The young go too, yeah. So it's
as well.
Okay. Yeah. So it's prayer shaming. Yeah. But this is the gun in the same in the function.
Prayer shaming and shaming of the young people. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is gun like in the same context, like if you're in a restaurant, you're about to order food, and I ask you, what are you going to drink? As for me, I'm going to drink water. That would be like, Mom, Unit, what do you want to drink? Mögen würden As for me, I will drink water. Right, then Luan.
Chumbelat kurikesto lienatmo megin kok gana onchili da deni. So where you on like Chumbelat's mountain. As for me, I was there 2 times the year before last year and last year.
Yeah. And then Valentina.
Yes, so Joshkarolagic Chumbelat Kurikdek Autobusim Koltat Gin Okegin. So from Joshkarola to the Chumbelat mountain, I guess you can go by bus, or there are buses. Isn't it the case?
Yeah, it's like basically they send buses. Like
I wasn't sure about the cortege, but
it's like to send, or so, like they send buses. Isn't it so? Yeah, and this is a very hard
plural. Impersonal plural.
Yeah, this is a very hard thing to translate literally. It's like gun again, like ain't it so, or so, like it's sort of like a
rhetorical question. Yeah,
exactly. So the last exercise, which you're not going to do, it is a recording from Mari LTV about the prayer ceremony dedicated to Chumbelat. There's a transcript here, and there's a link to the YouTube video, so students can look at that on their own. Is there anything else on? Are there any questions about the exercise before I start the recording? Stop the recording. Then I'm going to stop the recording now. So everybody watching at home, see you in the next exercise.